Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, welcome. Lost in My 40s. We are at episode 23. It is the beginning of the end of season 1. This is Exodus part 1. It's an ensemble cast. It is not one specific character this week. Ben is going to give us this episode, but first he is going to remind us of our power rankings.
Yes, I am. So from last week, I think once again, we didn't really see a whole lot of movement. We still have Kate on top with giggity 160 points. Behind her, Locke with 142
giggity.
Points. Giggity.
I mean.
And then once again, we got Dr. Bronze with 128 points.
Dr. Bronze. Wow.
Yeah, he's always in third place. So
yeah.
That's my new.
Yeah.
I'm channeling Sawyer.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Bronze. Okay. At the bottom of the list, it's not going to surprise anybody, Shannon. We just actually had and we had something peculiar happen last week. We finally had Ethan dropped out of the second most hated slot and Sawyer took over.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we've got Shannon with negative 101 points, Sawyer with negative 58, and Ethan with 56.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, wow. I didn't realize we hated Sawyer that much. But yeah, you know, he really does start off as kind of an asshole in this show.
Yes, he does.
He tries to make you hate him.
Right.
Yes, he does.
Right. And Derek doesn't know, but the rest of it, well, Ben has forgotten the show, I guess. So Christy and I know Sawyer's character arc, and I think it's one of the biggest changes in the characters as it goes on. I feel like. Anyways, spoiler alerts.
It's also the most replete with baby oil.
Yes.
All right. Let's do episode 23.
All right. Episode 23, Exodus Part 1. We start in a flashback to the sound of an airplane, and you see Walt in a hotel room opening up curtains to see the Sydney skyline. He turns on the TV and starts watching Power Rangers at pretty much full volume. Well, not full volume. We'll learn this later. Michael wakes up and looks at the clock.
Loud enough. I would be.
It's really fucking loud.
Yeah, especially when you're sleeping.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. So Michael looks at the clock and it says it's 5:23 a.m. He asks Walt to turn it down. Walt throws him some serious attitude and just cranks the volume pretty much to the top.
Honestly, Michael's probably still suffering from jet lag anyway. It's not like he's been in Australia for very long. So his sleep schedule's all kinds of
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because I think it's an over 20-hour flight up down there.
Yeah, I've never been there. I want it. I so badly. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to New Zealand. But I do worry that I might have a panic attack being stuck in a plane for 20 hours. I think I would probably have to take like a Xanax or something to not lose my mind.
Well, you definitely need a Xanax in case you had to poop on the airplane.
Oh, way to take it all the way back to, I think, like episode 1, maybe, right? Or 2?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds very beginning, so.
My poop fears, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Anyway, Michael was trying to sleep and the Power Rangers were on. Sorry, Ben.
And once again, Walt tells him to turn it down. Or Michael tells him to turn it down. And Walt says
Brian's
that Brian
in the wind at this point.
Yeah, Brian's in the wind.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Walt says Brian, let him do it. And Michael says, I'm not Brian. So at that point, Walt grabs Vincent and just storms out of the room, starts walking down the hallway with his dog in tow. Michael jumps up and pursues him down the hall. They go back and forth a little bit, but at the end, when he gets to the end of the hall, Michael finally says, I don't think so. He grabs Walt's arm, drags him back to the room. I think somebody comes out of their hotel room to be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, well, because Walt is like screaming. He's being chased by a man in his underwear, and he's screaming, "You're not my father." That's kind of a scene, I feel like.
Yeah, that'd be a concerning scene.
Yeah.
So then Michael says, I don't really like this whole thing either, but you're getting on that plane with me. And then Walt says, you're not my father. That's where the flashback ends. We come back to the beach. I don't know, what day is this? I lose track of the day.
So it's day 44, and it stays day 44 until season 2. It's the end of the show. It's all in the same day, and season 2 actually picks up still on day 44. So
all right.
It's about to be a long day.
So now we're on the beach where Michael and Walt are sleeping. Walt gets up, starts walking towards the jungle or whatever to perform his morning necessaries. He hears rustling in the bushes, and then he spots Danielle walking toward the camp with her gun. He starts to stalk her, kind of like ducking behind trees. And then like at the very end, when right before they see each other, he hides behind this pole, and it's literally like 3 inches wide. I'm not really sure how he expected
It's a pole?
to not be
It's a
seen.
tree, I think.
Either way, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
How stupid are you?
Yeah, seriously. Like, I feel like the only person that could hide behind that would be like Kate Moss if she turned sideways.
Right.
I haven't seen her since the 90s.
I figure it's somewhat topical, Well, not topical, but the right age range for us. The right age range for us.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not topical. That was the wrong word.
Yeah, the kiddos won't know who Kate Moss is, but
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that my humor's wearing thin.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know. We've barely gotten started. So Danielle actually sees him at this point. And then Walt runs to the beach and starts rousing everyone. Starts screaming "Dad!" And then all the beach crew starts waking up. They kind of surround her, and I think Sawyer's like, "Hey, what the hell?" Saeed actually comes up and tries to calm everyone down, and then Danielle starts looking like really, really creepily, intensely at Claire and her baby.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah. And then Saeed asks her several times, like, Danielle, what are you doing here?
I love the way that Saeed speaks to Danielle. It's like, he's like really sweet and sort of comforting with her. And I don't know, it's like a gentle touch from Saeed in like, the way that they speak.
Yeah, he's like, Danielle, what are you doing here?
Whoa, that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
So when Saeed asks her this, Danielle says, the others are coming. And we cut to the title card.
Like, this is an intense moment, Derek, where you like, fuck yeah, I get to see the others.
Get to see the others, yes.
I mean, sort of, but
yeah.
But yeah, like I can remember when it had originally aired. That was the big thing. That's what was on TV. That was all the ads. That was all the talk. Where like the others, we're going to see the others, in the final episodes. And when she says that, it's just like, yeah, all right, now we're
like
going to see some
previews they
stuff.
have each week.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
We'll come back from the title card. We're still on the beach, and Danielle is telling the folks on the beach her story about when her ship ran aground. She was with her team. She was 7 months pregnant, and she had to deliver the baby herself. After about a week after the baby was born, she saw black smoke rising a few miles inland on the island. And she says that night they came.
She says 5 kilometers. I'm like, how did you know it was 5 kilometers? If you're on the, like, what are you talking? Did you measure it later? I don't understand, but okay, it's 5 kilometers inland, whatever.
She's got super heightened senses, I guess.
Yeah.
And then she says that night, a week later, they came and they took her baby. And she says her baby's name was Alex. And now she says, and now they're coming again. Jack asks, who? She says, the others. And then she gets really, really dramatic. And the next thing, this is one of my favorite lines in the story. She says,
and this, of course, was also in the previews ad nauseum.
Yeah. Oh, this is perfect preview fodder. Yeah. She says, you can run, you can hide, or you can die.
She does kind of whisper it like that, too.
She gets really, really, really dramatic with that die.
Although, Danielle sort of whisper talks most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
You notice that she's very breathy all the time.
Yeah.
Breathy.
Yeah, it's not quite smoldering intensity. It's more like creeping intensity. I don't know. Like,
yeah, smoldering
intense,
intensity. It's really funny that you said that. I forced Ben to watch the new Jumanji movies a couple weeks ago. Have you guys seen those?
No.
I saw the first.
It has The Rock. Yeah, The Rock and Kevin Hart in it, and Jack Black. They're fucking hilarious movies.
They are. I was
they
not
really
expecting much, but they were funny.
I'll give it to you. I like the first one. The second one was kind of meh, but the first one was really funny.
Yeah, see, I loved the second one even more, but I had to like talk Ben into it because I knew that he would think I was crazy if I was like, oh, let's watch Jumanji with The Rock. But I had to talk him into it. I was like, I think I watched it early on in COVID or something like that, and I convinced him to. Have you seen those movies, Christy?
No, I have not.
They are fucking hilarious. Highly recommend. Like, it's a kid's movie, but
I'm sure there's a lot of adult humor,
but
kind
it's
of
just
hidden in there.
It's just they're just very funny. But anyways,
Cool.
one of the things from the movie is The Rock has this superpower called smoldering intensity. It's very funny.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, well, anywho.
The director's cut's got full frontal, too, for Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, my God.
What?
Jumanji!
So you see Dwayne's Johnson.
Something tells me his is bigger than a Johnson. I think you have, there's got to be a separate naming structure for people of that size.
Oh, I'm sure. Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think at that point it officially becomes a schlong.
A schlong. Oh, that's
Schlong.
That's what a schlong is. Got it.
I think
Didn't
so.
realize.
I think so.
Oh, you remember Sean
Me?
Schlong?
Oh, yeah. Well, Christy and I met the restaurant that we met at. We worked with a guy named Sean who was just the. You know what? It wouldn't even fly today. It would just be called straight up sexual harassment, probably, because he was a pervert, and that was his nickname was Sean Schlong, because all he ever did was talk about penises.
The funny thing too is that his day job, he was like a day trader or something, and had a beautiful wife who was pregnant. And when she
fancy house and money and he just waited tables, I think, to get away from her.
I guess. But when she would come in to eat dinner, he would be all prim and proper the whole time she was there. And then as soon as she left, he would be like, "Schlong."
Yeah,
he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hell, Dan, remember Office Depot? All the shit we talked about there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was pretty filthy.
But I mean, even the people in the back of the house who only spoke Spanish. When they
called him Schlong.
Yeah, they were trying to tell me something one day, and I was like, "Where did you get that idea?" And he was like, Schlong. And I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Jesus.
Yeah, so Schlong, if you're listening, hello. How's it going?
I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those memories, huh? You guys were pretty nasty in the Home Depot? Oh, no, sorry, Office Depot? I don't know why.
Office Depot.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny.
I remember one time I used to put the call this 1-800-GAY-FUCK website or not website
1-800-GAY-FUCK.
Yes, 1-800-GAY-FUCK, and I put it over the speakers over the whole store after we closed.
Man,
wow.
Yeah, the idea back then of workplace harassment and workplace propriety was just gone. It didn't even exist.
God. I'm betting that it wasn't 1-800. It's probably 1-900.
It could be 1-900-GAY-FUCK. That's what it was.
That's what the petty cash drawer was for.
Yes, only $3.99 a minute. You can enjoy live, uncensored, man-on-man action.
Well, I mean, like,
I still remember it.
Oh my god! Like that's the literal copy from
Yes, that's what.
Oh my god!
that's pretty inexpensive considering that Locke was paying Helen what, like $90 an hour.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I will totally work for 1-900 gay fuck if they want to pay me $90 an hour.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. We're never going to get through this fucking episode,
no, but that's
I think.
okay.
But
It's fun.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean,
Yeah, we're off the rails. All right. We're back on the beach, but it's the same beach. Danielle had just told her story, and Jack and Locke are walking away from the others, and Jack says that he thinks she's just crazy. Locke sort of plays devil's advocate and says it doesn't mean that she's not telling the truth.
he's got a point.
Yeah, it's true. And Jack's
Because
just
that
like
is
kind
the
of
thing. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That is the thing with Danielle is that, like, she's definitely fucking nuts, but she's also been right about everything so far.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd
Right?
be a little off being alone on an island
Yeah.
for 16 years. So.
Yeah, definitely. So Jack says, in spite of all that, I'm going to focus on the raft because at least it's tangible. It's something that's real that we can actually focus on. Then as they were walking, they come up to the raft where everyone's still working on it. And Jack asks Mike how it's going. He says they wanted to leave today, but they don't have enough people, basically, to get everything done that needs to get done. So, of course, Jack offers to help and then says, I don't know, give me 30, 45 minutes or something like that, and runs off and starts enlisting people. Now we see him coming back with a bunch of Jack coming back with a bunch of survivors, telling them, do this, do that. And then we go to the actual raft where they're trying to launch it, and they built some sort of series of like logs to roll it on and all these other levers and stuff like that to actually get the thing down into the water. Michael is sort of orchestrating, and he's sort of like, 1, 2, 3, and they all start kind of lifting and tilting and pushing, and the boat starts groaning and you hear it start to move. And then the second time they try to push it, something goes wrong. The boat slides off and things come crashing down, and several things appear to just kind of break.
It is kind of an impressive endeavor that they're undertaking.
A bunch of, people,
Go ahead, Derek.
random people that crashed on an island. They're pretty ingenious with their
Yeah.
building and moving stuff.
Well, if
Right,
Michael wasn't
for
going
sure.
to become a cobbler, at least he could build them a fucking raft.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
gone from very useless to being
Yes.
very useful.
Yes.
Yep. That's definitely Michael's character arc, specifically in season 1. He comes around pretty quickly to be a more useful individual. But like just watching them and the levers that they've constructed and how they've got it on like these rolling logs and everything, like it's like, wow, okay. I mean, not that they really built it in real life, but I'm pretending like this is real. And so I'm impressed with them.
Yes.
Anyways, until it breaks and it's all fucking Sawyer's fault. God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And I've got to play
Redneck.
devil's advocate with Michael. I know everyone's saying like, oh, he's a lot more useful now, but is the raft really useful?
Well, we don't really know that yet. We don't know if it's
It's
useful at
useful
this
because
point.
they
There's
launched
still
it to go
hope.
get help.
Is
Yeah,
the
there's
concept
still hope
is
for
the
the raft.
concept is the concept of the raft helpful?
No. You're right. Of course, it's insane to build a raft and like take off into the fucking South Pacific. That's dumb. We all agreed. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
from the point of view of like the hope of the survivors and the relationship between Michael and his son, the raft is useful in that way.
It
I
is.
guess,
Yes,
but,
it is a handy empty symbol.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mike kind of shoots a death gaze over at Sawyer, and Sawyer's like, "Oh, well, I didn't screw up in either case." Walt, while they're starting to argue, Walt says, "Dad, look." And then I noticed this right when everyone starts kind of looking in the direction where Walt is pointing. You hear Aaron start to cry, and I only caught this on like the second or third time I watched it.
Honey.
But Walt,
He doesn't have a name yet.
Turnip head.
He's turnip head.
Oh,
He's still turnip head.
Oh, well, it's not really that big a giveaway, I guess.
You spoiled it.
I did. Huge spoiler.
Oh, my God. Fuck this. I'm out of here.
You ruined my episode.
Totally unprofessional.
Seriously.
My God. All right. So Turnip Head is crying.
Turnip Head starts crying, and Walt's pointing. I think he's pointing 5 kilometers inland.
Exactly. 5 kilometers
Yeah, not
inward.
4.5, but 5.
Yeah. And there you see a black column of smoke rising in the distance.
Dun,
then
dun, dun.
dissonant strings sort of take over, and the camera pans around everybody. It's a really good sort of, preview shot as well.
Oh, yeah. That's like a good still shot, too, where you get them all kind of staring and, Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's glistening forehead right up front. So after this, Jack is talking to Danielle, and he asks her how many others there are. She's like, I don't know. I've told you everything I know. And then she points out that they've got a bigger problem, that she can go hide in the woods, but there's like 40 of them, and they've got literally like, what are you going to do?
Where will you hide them?
Where will you hide them? Yeah.
Where will you hide them?
I know
You
what
guys are making her sound Iraqi. She's French.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
did
she
I?
Sounds like Saeed now.
I kind of did that too when I was trying to do her accent when I had the first Saeed episode. So
Okay. Whoops. I can't do French now. How do you... Sacre bleu! Where will you hide them? No, now I'm like Russian or something. Fuck this. I don't know what is happening.
Fuck you.
I'm American. I don't understand accents.
So they met.
I know where they could hide 40 people.
Is that a sexual? That sounds sexual.
No.
Your mind is dirty. Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know. I know where they can hide.
We all know her mind is dirty.
I know. Well, we talked about penises already today, so now I'm all riled up.
Okay. So Danielle asks, where are you going to hide 40 people? And then Jack and Locke kind of share a look. We cut to the next scene, and it's the hatch, the partially excavated hatch. And Hurley, in typical Hurley fashion, says,
Dude, whoa.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Hurley's so fucking great. He's just fucking great.
He's having a Joey Lawrence moment.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, you know what's really funny? We just finished editing episode 14, and I was listening to it this week, and we bring up Joey Lawrence in that episode.
Yeah.
So this is now and it was you who did it. So this is now the second appearance by Joey Lawrence. Yeah.
I guess I had a thing for him when I was younger. I don't know.
I probably did too. And we were like, adolescent. Yeah, exactly. Right.
So it seems there was kind of a group assumption that Danielle would know what this hatch was, but she tells them that she had never seen it before. Hurley points out, how do we know everyone can fit in? And Locke says, because there's no hinge, or there's no way to open the door from here. It means there's probably another door. If there's another door, it means there's probably a lot more room. Saeed is not very into the idea of opening it. And he thinks that maybe it belongs to the others. And Danielle interrupts him and says, black smoke means they're coming. So she's obviously trying to keep them focused on black smoke. Locke says to Danielle that she had booby-trapped her whole house, and if she had any more explosives. She says, dynamite at the Black Rock in the dark territory. And once again, Hurley's response is,
oh my God. Well, that's 3 reasons to go right there.
Yeah.
Fucking
The Black Rock.
Great.
Yeah, Hurley's just getting all the zingers in.
Yeah.
And she says if they're going to get back by nightfall, they need to leave ASAP. Once again, Locke and Jack share another look, though I liked this one because in this look, you see Jack's face is all worry and Locke's face is pure excitement.
Oh, God, yeah. He's like, fuck yeah,
giddy.
we're getting in this hatch. We're blowing this shit up.
Yes,
I'm getting
finally.
in there. It's my destiny. Yeah, he's ready.
Dynamite.
You are my density.
Dynamite. Yeah, so I was going to make that joke later when I gave facts about dynamite, so thanks for ruining that. But,
Boy.
That's fine.
Stepping on your schlong over here.
Ow.
Yeah. So now we're at flashback 2 where Jack's sitting in an airport bar and a woman sits next to him and orders tequila and tonic. She asks him while he was yelling at the girl at the check-in counter. And Jack looks, I guess, sort of incredulous and just says, "Do I know you?" She says that they're on the same flight and then asks him if his dad had died. He says, yeah. He tells her it was a heart attack. And then she asks him, this is an odd time to hit on somebody, but asks him why he's not wearing a wedding ring.
It is a weird time to hit on someone, but she's like licking her fingers every time she...
Yeah.
She's like sucking on the lemon and licking her fingers, giving him googly eyes, and
Yeah, she ends up, lightening his mood before it's all said and done, so that's nice.
Anyway, that's true.
He says he was married before, and then orders her another drink. She introduces herself as Ana Lucia, and Jack asks her why she's drinking tequila before noon. Now, I want everybody to weigh in here. Is it me, or is this a ridiculous question to ask somebody at an airport?
It's a ridiculous
because
question.
there are no...
It's a ridiculous question.
There's no rules in an airport. There's no
no time in an airport.
Right.
No, you drink.
I've been at airports all times of the day, and there's always someone drinking somewhere in the airport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloody
I just wanted
Marys.
to make sure that years of alcoholism hasn't, made me think wrong
Skewed
about
your
that. Yeah, exactly. I always feel
And
like
now
I'm
you can't drink on the plane, so you
Yeah.
have to get drunk before you get on the plane.
Yeah, I always feel like when you're in an
on a
airport
plane since COVID.
Oh yeah. I haven't
First
either.
class you can drink, but not in coach. They don't serve alcohol in coach.
Well, isn't that something? Because I guess the
isn't
COVID
it?
just stays in the back
That
of the
curtain,
plane.
that curtain
Yeah,
stops
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Isn't that okay? Wow, that's something.
Yep.
Well, in response to the drinking question, she says she hates flying, and she got seated all the way in the back of the plane. She says she's in 24F. Was that it? I can't remember what the
42.
Oh,
42F.
she's 42F. He's 23B. So 23 and 42 are two.
Yeah, so those
15,
numbers.
16,
Those
23,
specific
42.
numbers.
Yeah. She asks him if he wants to trade. He kind of laughs. One of the you see him laugh very often in this show, but
No.
Then her phone rings and she says she's got to take the call and says maybe they can have a drink on the plane. As she's walking away, she says something, and I thought this was really, really nice. She says, "Hey, I think the worst part is over."
Yeah,
And then
this is a sweet thing to say.
Yeah.
And
So
hopefully we'll
fucking
see more
incredibly
of her.
wrong, though.
Well,
Yeah, seriously.
so fucking incredibly wrong that she couldn't have
Way
known
off
that.
base
The worst
there,
part is
Emrod.
hasn't happened.
Yeah. False, Ana Lucia.
Right.
False.
Well, hopefully we'll see more of her.
Oh, do you hope that?
Yeah.
Well,
It's pretty hot.
spoiler alert, you are going to get your wish.
I don't know if is she hot or is it just that she's kind of constantly like licking her fingers and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
the licking
kinda
the
hard to
fingers
tell.
thing.
No,
was-
she's
Yeah.
hot. Yeah,
She's
that's
hot.
what I wrote down. Keep licking
Yeah.
those fingers. Oh my God.
Yep.
That's what's in my notes. It's like, damn it. Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez is totally hot. What are you talking about?
Not my
Yeah,
thing.
I don't
Not your
like her.
thing.
Nah.
I don't like her bangs in this. Like I bangs her, but like I don't like her bangs in this.
Oh my God.
You just really wanted to work that one in.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Yeah, he thought about
Giggity.
that for a couple
Seriously,
weeks. Probably.
I'd totally work it into her.
Oh.
Woo, all right.
And we're back to the island. Jack is telling folks on the beach that that he's got a plan, that they're going to go into the jungle for supplies, and that they should help Michael with the raft, and then after that to go to the caves. Then our favorite teacher, Arzt, runs up to Jack and says that his plan is flawed. He then kind of recounts explains Jack's entire plan about they're going to go get dynamite, go to the hatch, blow it open and all that. And Jack's kind of like, what the hell? How do you know this? And he says, if you don't want, I don't remember what he says, but he basically says like, Hurley told me and you shouldn't tell him anything. Because
If you want to keep a secret, don't tell the fat guy.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
the quote.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Arzt.
I do. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, but he's not wrong. Hurley definitely has a big fat mouth. Just says whatever he wants to say and has busted open a few secrets already, I think. So
yeah.
Dude.
So Arts tells him about the dynamite. He said it's been out there a long time, and that, I don't know, does he get into the whole nitroglycerin thing, or does he just say it's dangerous at this point? I can't remember.
He says like it's dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. And then he says he wants to come with them. Back at the boat, Jin and Michael are scrambling after the accident to fix things. And Sawyer comes up and says, "Hey man, put me to work." And I think Michael and Jin are just like, I think Michael just says something like, "Hey, we work faster this way with just us two." So Sawyer looks a little bit butthurt.
Yeah, I'm kind of loving the new like Michael Jin bromance though.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Talk about a relationship.
Like beating each other's ass,
Yeah,
senseless
seriously.
to being buds.
Like drowning each other in the ocean.
They hated each other in the beginning, and now they're besties.
Oh, yeah, that's like us. Neither one of us tried to drown the other, though, but...
Not that you know about.
Life is short.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Anywho, I love their, like, kind of blossoming friendship now, and it's sweet.
Yeah, see, there's Blossom again. Think of the whole Joey Lawrence thing. It just keeps coming up. It's coming up 6 times. Anyhow, so now we go to another flashback. This is flashback number 3, where Sawyer's in a police station, and there's an Aussie cop that says that last time he was there, a few days ago, he kicked his desk and knocked over a coffee mug or something, like his kids had made him or something like that.
Broke it.
Yeah, and broke it. Sawyer says something kind of typically smart-assed, and and says that it wasn't the worst thing he had done that day, and he says something about it. I was in a bar fight. Isn't that a badge of honor around here? And he ends up saying that he ended up headbutting the Australian Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry. I guess that's a.
And Sawyer says he headbutted me.
He headbutted me.
Somehow I don't see that.
The Honorable Warren Truss.
Trust. That's it.
I can't see Warren Truss being someone who just goes around starting bar fights and headbutting people.
Yeah, I would imagine, though, Sawyer's pretty triggering. He's kind of obnoxious, so
there's that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the cop calls him James, and I'm not sure. Is this the first time you hear that?
Yeah, I think that he calls him his whole name, James Ford.
Ford.
Yeah. And I don't think we know that.
Hurley should know that, though.
Yes.
Because Hurley has a manifest.
That's a really good point. Like when he went around doing the census, and he said the only person not on the manifest was Ethan, but how would he... I guess it's just a scene maybe they didn't bother to show us where he must have... Sawyer was like, "Oh, that's me. I'm James."
He goes
Ford,
by Hurley. Why? He's not going to tell. He probably just figured it out, and he was like, "Whatever." He goes by Sawyer. Okay, I go by Hurley. Sweet.
Right.
Yeah, but Hurley has said that that's not his real name. His name is Hugo Reyes.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think James Ford has ever told the other survivors what his real name is.
But you're right. At that point, Hurley must have figured it out in some way. Otherwise, he wouldn't.
They may just cut it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so Sawyer kind of laughs, and the cop says, "Do you think this is funny, James?" And he starts reading off a list of like Sawyer's swindles and crimes and all this type of stuff, and asks him, "How do you live with yourself?" It is, yeah. There's a lot of really despicable shit in there. And then the cop calls him several names. Like I can't remember them all, but it's like scavenger and a couple of other things. And says like they're not going to put him in jail because he's not worth incarcerating.
Ouch.
Which means you're pretty fucking low when you're not worth incarcerating.
In
an ex-penal colony.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously, you're literally getting thrown out of a prison colony because you're too awful.
Right.
That's pretty amazing. So he gives him a one-way ticket and tells him he's being deported.
Yeah, you get banned from Australia.
Yeah, seriously.
Ouch, James. That's bad.
All right. So we come back to the present where this is a good scene for the ladies. Well, not just the ladies. It's a good scene for all kinds of folks, I suppose. Where in the jungle where Sawyer is shirtless.
And oil.
Greased up
oiled.
big time. So much, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And hacking away at bamboo. And then all of a sudden you hear Jack's voice and he says, "Lumberjack." So it's kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? I think it's, what are you talking about, Doc, or some shit like that. And he says, "I never asked you what you do for a living, so my guess is lumberjack." And then Jack hands Sawyer one of the pistols and says that he's the only one on the raft who knows how to use one. But I have to ask, how does he know that? Like, because to me, like, Jin is like hired muscle for like a bigwig in Korea. Something tells me he knows how to use.
Yeah, but
he
doesn't know. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know what Jin does.
Right.
Not only that,
but also
though,
Sawyer
the last
missed.
time, I know. I was going to say Sawyer
killed a marshal. He couldn't even shoot someone in the chest properly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Knows how to use it. I mean, knows how to pull the trigger. Doesn't really know how to point, I guess.
Right.
Oh, he did kill the polar bear, though.
Yeah, he did kill a polar bear that was running at him full bore.
Again, like I said, if he were a D&D character, he'd be rolling nat 20s and nat 1s constantly. He's either amazing or awful. So Jack says, or Sawyer says, why are you giving this to me? And Jack says, just in case. And then Sawyer says, you guys are going on your dynamite mission that will probably be gone by the time you get back. And Jack wishes him good luck. And as Jack starts walking away, Sawyer says his name, Jack, which I think is probably the first time he's ever said it to him.
Yeah.
And it reminds me
if Sawyer's calling you by your real name, like, something serious is about to come out of his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because the last time he said somebody's name like that, it was Saeed, and he was asking him about, like, because he had been hearing voices in the jungle or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. And then Sawyer starts going over his story of meeting Christian, telling him while he was in Australia, he met this doctor who was on this epic bender. And then that this doctor had a son who was also a doctor. They ended up falling out. And then Sawyer says something I really liked. He says, "Kids are like dogs. You knock them around enough and they'll start thinking they did something to deserve it."
Not wrong.
Yeah. And then he says, and this doctor or this guy, and he says his name then, Christian. And you say, come over Jack immediately. He says, Christian wishes he had the guts to pick up the payphone at the bar and tell his son that he was proud of him, that he was sorry and that he loves him. And then Sawyer says, something to the, like, I guess he never made that call or something like that.
I have the exact quote. Something tells me he never got around to making that call.
You're getting better at that. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do French.
Yeah.
French comes out as Iraqi, Russian, but
you can do your Southern drawl.
I think that this was the first time that this episode made me cry. I cry again later, but this was the first time that it made me
This
cry.
is a great scene.
This is an intense scene, and like the emotion that comes over Jack and Matthew Fox in this scene, his acting in this scene is fucking brilliant, because I'm feeling every bit of like, oh my gosh, this is the validation that I've been looking for, and I'm getting it from fucking Sawyer. Like, how is this happening?
People.
Yeah.
That's part of why it's such an amazing.
Exactly it. Yeah.
And then for Sawyer, as far as like, his redeeming qualities, it's like when it counted, when it came right down to it, like he had kept this secret from Jack before, but when it came to, I may never have the chance, he's like, I'm going to give this to Jack, and so he did that right thing in the right moment, which is good to see from Sawyer.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, babe?
Got any special occasions coming up that you need a card for?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an advertisement.
Is this about barbcards.com again?
Bingo.
So I suppose you're going to remind me that each handmade card is only $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come with busy backgrounds or flowery poetry?
You got it. Barbcards.com offers to-the-point communication within several different categories, including our favorite, potty mouth. And if you can't find what you want, barbcards.com can do customizations.
Can I still get all of my cards for no more than $4 shipping, no matter the size of the order?
You know it. Barbcards.com has got all you need. Hey, Ben.
Oh my God, what are we selling now?
Merch.
Our merch?
Yes, sir. Shirts, coffee mugs, wine tumblers, bottle openers, stickers, magnets, and more. Your choice of product and your choice of Space Bear Media graphic from any of our podcasts.
Please tell me we're not making merch now, too.
Of course not. We'll stick to podcasts, and Pixis products will do the rest.
Thank God. I bet you have more to say, though.
Sure do. Pixis Products is a small business run by a local mom, well, local to us anyway, who needed something else to do besides being a snack bitch.
What?
A snack bitch, also known as a mom with a young child.
There's still more, isn't there?
Yepers! Pixis Products works with other small businesses for supplies, art, and other collaborations at every opportunity, including ours. In fact, Pixis Products even gave Space Bear Media our own storefront on their site. You can find us at shopspacebear.com.
Say what?
You heard me. Go to shopspacebear.com and buy something.
And then Sawyer wishes him good luck at this point. Like you said, Jack is choked up. He doesn't say anything. He just sort of tries to choke back the tears or whatever and just sort of nods and walks away. Then we come to flashback number 4, where the marshal and Kate are in a security office at the airport. And the security guy there has that silver case that they found that had all the guns in it and asks him why he needs 5 guns. And then
that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. Then he pulls out that little airplane.
I just love Kate as a badass. I love her.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of criminal Kate. I can't help it.
So he pulls a little airplane out of that same case, and he starts to kind of dive into the story of Kate and Tom and how she got him killed while she was on the run. The marshal says that Kate started calling him at his house, like calling the marshal at his house, taunting him. And then for some reason, and this was a weird plot hole to me, he tells her that he put that plane into a safety deposit box in New Mexico. WTF? Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you put that plane in a safety deposit box?
Yeah, well, I guess we're not getting that part of the story at this point. Because, they like to tell stories out of order.
Sure.
But it showed her robbing the bank to get the toy airplane.
Yeah.
Right. So we saw that, but we saw that before we saw Tom get killed. So
and then the plane was in the back seat of the car.
Right. And so there's
Yeah,
so the story between how it got from the backseat of the car where he died into that safe deposit box is one that they're leaving you guessing for at this point.
Well, and it's not like he was using that as like telling her where the plane was so that maybe he could catch her robbing the bank later. You know?
Yeah,
it
right.
wasn't like a trap or anything. He was just telling her randomly that it was in New Mexico.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Within this time frame, it's a WTF moment. It's a weird plot hole. Like,
Sure.
There's no compelling reason to put that thing in a safety deposit box in New Mexico.
No.
Other than to lure her in some way, I guess would make sense. But why New Mexico? Yeah.
Yeah. So then he goes into the whole like bank robbery thing and how she shot that guy as well after they had their little tryst in the actual safe. And then he goes. I know. And then he goes on and he says that he thinks that this plane is the only thing in the world that she cares about. And that some way she can use it to atone for what's his name. And he does this several times during the scene. He's like, what's his name, Kate? Acting real kind of smarmy.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like the third time she asks him and she goes fucking full Sarah Connor on him, man. Like she goes at him, like gets him against the wall with her handcuffs.
Puts his fucking ass up against the wall. She is just like, do not taunt me about Tom. I will fucking kill you.
Yeah. And she says something like, his name is Ton, you son of a bitch. But then the marshal shows his brass, man. He just throws an elbow, somehow comes around back and just knocks her ass onto the ground. Then he looks over at the security guy and goes, "That's why I need 5 guns."
It's a great scene. I do want to mention one thing that you had said, Ben, was that the marshal is telling the guy that she's calling him at home and taunting him, but that's not exactly correct. It's not that taunting, it's that she's calling him with her sob story, as he puts it, that she's trying to like convince him she shouldn't be a fugitive, right? So that's important because that does come up later, because at this point we still don't know what she actually did and why her mother's afraid of her, and so it teases the storyline that maybe she isn't really a bad person, right? And so I just wanted to point that out. It's important for later.
And I actually remember the term that he used. He said she called up, something complaining about her mitigating circumstances.
Oh,
what he actually said. Yeah. So, cut back to the present, where Kate is walking up the beach looking quite delicious.
Always.
And then she comes up to Jack and asks if she can go with them into the jungle. And Jack says, "You're going to miss the raft launch." She replies that she's not really good at goodbyes. And then we see Charlie walking around the beach asking people for messages that he's putting into a bottle.
Cute.
Yeah. And then
pens
Hurley
would really
writes,
come in handy right now.
Seriously. We could use some pens here.
Yeah.
Ever since he died, there's been no pens on the island. Nobody could figure it out.
Terrible.
Hurley's writing his message and tells Charlie not to look at it. And then Charlie tries to look at it. And again, he's like, "Dude, don't look at it.
Dude, don't look at it."
And then you see, Jack saying good luck to Michael, or wait a second. No, I totally wrote that down wrong. Anyway, people are all around the raft and people are saying goodbye to one another. I was like, how did Jack? Jack says goodbye to Walt and Jin, and then Kate is looking around while people are saying goodbye. She's looking for Sawyer, but he's nowhere to be found. So next scene, and this is Jack, Danielle, Hurley, Kate, Locke, and Arzt. I'm just going to call them Team Dynamite going forward because it's easier.
I love it. I love the group on this expedition. It's fucking great. Yeah.
So we see Team Dynamite heading off down the beach, and we get sort of a montage of them walking along sort of rocky shoreline. And when they stop at some point, and Locke notices a bunch of scratches on Danielle's arm, and she says they were from a bush, and Locke says, "Mean bush."
Yeah.
And I mean, after 16 years on the island, I bet her bush is pretty fucking epic.
Probably.
Jesus. Seriously.
Oh my God. Do you think she braids it?
Oh God. I certainly hope so. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh God. And also, no bush scratches your arm like that. So okay.
Seriously. Well,
deep
no,
gouges.
you've never been to Central Texas. Every
yes,
bush
I have.
does that to you.
Yes, it's.
I've been there with you.
The area you were in wasn't nearly as bad as the area I'm thinking about.
I lived in Austin for the first 14 years of my life, and there are a lot of mean bushes there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Team Dynamite starts walking again, and Hurley keeps saying Artz's name wrong. I think he's calling him Arnst each time.
Yeah.
That is a hard name to.
Yeah.
Looking at it.
Yeah, I remember when I was like I said, it's German for teacher, and every time I'd see that word, I was like Arzt. It's a weird word to say.
Yep.
Well, apparently a whole bunch of ninth graders can pronounce it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what Arzt says. Something like, well, it's not that hard because a bunch of ninth graders can do it. And then Hurley says, well, why don't you just use your first name? And Arzt is like, no, absolutely not. And then he says, well, I read it on the manifest. Anyone want to fill in Hurley's line here?
Leslie's a lovely name. Something like that.
He says bitchin'. He says it's
Leslie
a
is
bitchin' name.
Yeah,
Bitchin'.
Leslie is a bitchin' name.
I don't know about that.
So then, yet another montage of Team Dynamite walking through the jungle. Danielle kind of happens upon a dark scrap of fabric hanging from a tree limb. And then she says something in French. Jack repeats it in English, the dark territory. Danielle then says this is where her team got infected and where Montan lost his arm. That's about enough for Arzt right there. His eyes go wide. Yeah.
And I'm out.
I don't care about the dynamite now.
But
y'all
as she says that,
kill yourselves. I'm gonna go this way.
As you see that, you actually hear like thunder in the background. Then he starts to kind of basically, chicken out and says that he was up for this right up until Montan lost his arm. And then he warns them, just be careful with the dynamite. Be careful with the dynamite. Turns and starts
that's his whole
away.
advice. Jack's like, well, what are we supposed to do? As he's turning around to leave, he's just, be careful. Oh, well, fucking thanks.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Seriously.
Jesus. He gives them
we're getting
no
close to the
tips
Black
whatsoever.
Rock. Yeah. So I was getting excited because I was thinking we're finally going to get to see what the Black Rock is.
Yep. So now we go back to the beach with a raft where Michael and Jin are, again, scrambling on repairs. And then Michael says, no, this goes here and that goes there. And I think they were channeling some Star Wars here. Because I think it's the exact line that Han says to Chewie when they can't fix the hyperdrive.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That would, I mean, J.J. Abrams went on to do Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if the writers put that little Easter egg in there.
Yeah.
They make other Star Wars references too.
Yeah.
You're right. They do.
At one point, I don't know if we've gotten there yet or not, but at one point, Sawyer refers to Jin and Michael as, Han and the Wookiee or something.
Oh, he does do that.
Does he?
Something like that.
Oh, then that's exactly what we're talking about here. Because I remember the scene now. Han and Chewie, they're in their ice base on Hoth, and they're trying to get out of there because they know the Empire's coming. And then he's like, "Hey, I just repaired that. This goes here, that goes there, right?" Yeah. So
wow.
it definitely felt like they were channeling that a little bit. And then Sawyer rolls up, shirtless, glistening once again with a perfectly cut.
Where is all this oil coming from?
Coconut.
Well, I like the notes that Lacy put. Oily Sawyer shows up with a mast sized for perfection.
That is a sentence I wrote. Yes,
I think didn't we come to it earlier that's called schlong?
Ooh, I guess.
Yeah.
No, he might have a mast though.
All right, so once again cutting back to Team Dynamite minus Arzt walking through the rain. They hear something and then it gets louder, and then you realize it's Arzt coming back toward them, running and gasping. He comes through the foliage and then yells, "Run!" And then you hear whatever those noises are, the monster, T-Rex,
roller coaster,
machine roller coaster, whatever the fuck that is, all kinds of weird noises. And everyone takes off running except for Locke and Hurley. And Locke just says, "Be still." We cut to the other ones running as the tromping sound gets louder. And then Danielle ducks into, again, one of those root thickets, which seems to be like anytime there's a bear or there's a monster, you cut into one of those things.
That's where you go. Yep.
You're untouchable.
Exactly.
Because smoke can't penetrate.
Yeah, exactly.
The thin banyan.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
exactly?
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
All right.
So Locke and Hurley are still standing there, and then the rain just stops all of a sudden, and the sound starts to get quieter. Back in the thicket, Daniel tells them that this thing is a security system, and Jack is like, "What the hell? Why a security system for what?" And she says, "For the island." So then we see Team Dynamite reconvene, and Arzt is back with them, and he's like, "Can we just go get the dynamite now?" Then we flash back to the beach again. Walt walks up to Shannon with his dog in tow. Vincent, exactly.
Wait a second. The noise is not. That's a fart. Sounded like somebody just took a shit on her.
She'd probably like that.
Yeah. Into that.
Oh,
Anywho, she's folding Booth's clothing, and Walt asks her why she's doing that.
You call him Booth all the time. It's
I do.
So weird.
I do. I even wrote it down that way. Booth.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Booth. You actually typed Booth in your
I did.
outline.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I do it several times. I catch myself, but I type Booth a lot.
fuck, that's so funny.
He's dead. Fuck him.
Oh my god.
So Walt asks why she's doing that, and she just says she's anal. Giggity. Walt.
She does actually say that.
She does.
Oh my god.
Walt says that she should take Vincent, and he says, Vincent, he'll take care of you. He helped me when my mom died. He's a good listener. You can talk to him about Boone.
It's actually really sweet. And he says to her,
I was crying again.
What? Oh, yeah. And he says, when nobody
crying.
would talk to me about my mom, I had Vincent. And it's just like, oh my God.
He's like,
poor kid.
he's a really good listener.
Yeah, it's really a sweet scene. And Shannon actually looks like she's touched by it as well, that he thought of her.
Yeah, I wrote,
she sucks and everyone hates her.
Yeah. I love that we get to see Shannon's softer side. She is actually sweet with Walt. So
Yeah.
Well, she says she'll take Vincent, but only until they get him rescued. So then we cut to another flashback, this one in the airport where Shannon is waiting, taking up 3 seats, doing a crossword puzzle. Saeed comes up to her and asks if she'll look after his bag or whatever while he goes and does something.
Which is
she's like,
dumb
sure.
and weird that he would do that.
Especially,
but anyway.
Especially in the time period.
And especially as an Iraqi.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of dumb, but purposeful for this rest of the scene.
Exactly.
But
she says, sure, whatever. And then Boone, see there? I got it again.
Oh.
Boone comes up and says they can't get first class because Shannon earlier had yelled at the gate agent. Next, they're on the elevator and she's going on about first class, saying that, she doesn't want to ride coach because it's pathetic and she doesn't want to listen to a baby, blah, blah, blah. Boone calls her a bitch, and then she starts going on about how she's going to get him thrown off the flight. And he sort of calls her bluff and is like, what are you going to do? And she says something like, you have no idea what I'm capable of. And then she grabs like the nearest security guard and then tells him that this Arab set down a bag next to her and walked away. And the guy asks her,
that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah. He's like, what did he look like? And she just goes, I don't know, Arab?
I'm back to calling her a twat.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
Yeah. They give you the softer side of Shannon just to like stab you in the gut with her disgusting racist bullshit in the airport.
Yeah. Well, we do realize that the airport stuff was pre-island.
Of course.
So,
of course. Right. But my emotional roller coaster is happening
that's true.
while I'm watching it.
Yeah. So then she sort of smirks at Boone in her real shitty, smirky way. Then we cut back to the present again. At the raft where Saeed is giving Michael a primer on some of the components that he had stripped out of that yellow plane that they found crashed, the heroin plane. Apparently he had raided that and took out the radar emitter and some other things. And he tells him, like, put it up on the mast and you can only turn it on about once an hour because
mast.
Because electricity is at a premium.
Sized to perfection.
Sized to perfection. And then he hands Michael a flare gun with 1 round in it. And then, he goes on and says, make sure you use it wisely or something. It's like, well, no fucking
Choose
shit, man.
wisely.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now, back in the jungle.
You okay? That was weird.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that mast size to perfection.
No. I feel like I've said back in the jungle with Team Dynamite like 7 times, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm like getting lost. But no,
just sick. Lost.
Yeah. Yeah. That was not intentional. So Team Dynamite emerges into a clearing. Locke starts to ask Daniel why they're stopping, but then like mid-sentence, he stops and he looks up, and Danielle says, because we're here. And the camera pans over, and we see what the Black Rock finally is, and it looks like a sailing ship from maybe 18th century. I'm not really sure.
It's not what I did not even think about the Black Rock being a ship at all.
Yeah.
Right, a ship in the middle of the jungle somehow running around.
At least 5 kilometers inland.
5 kilometers from the shore.
Yeah. So when you saw that, Derek, were you just like, what?
I was like, what the fuck? First of all, now I know what it is, but how the hell did it get here?
One shitty captain.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so remember when you had first questioned, what is the Black Rock? And I told you, you'll find that out fairly quickly what it is, but its significance is going to be seasons away. So hang tight. The Black Rock makes a few appearances.
Well, it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you don't know that because how the hell did it get there? Now we're talking about Philadelphia experiment shit going on.
Like high tide on that
movie.
side of the mountain, or mountain island, I guess.
Tsunami, maybe?
Yeah.
All right.
So, flashback 6. We're back in the airport where Jin is sitting at a table reading a newspaper. Sun shows up with a bunch of food and drinks. And there's this bitch American woman in the background that says something like, Sun is being sort of doting on her husband, giving him food and putting a napkin in his lap, kind of sweet, a little patriarchal, sure, but kind of sweet. And this woman says, if I'm ever like that, just shoot me. Or if I'm ever like that with you, shoot me. And then her husband says that they've got I think he says like 20 times lower divorce rate or something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, okay, let's dive into that for just a second, because the wife is obviously like a racist, ethnocentrist, whatever, making fun of their culture.
I think she was a Karen before there was a Karen.
Yeah.
But the husband, though, I mean, how many assumptions is he making? First of all, what divorce rate? What country do you think they're from? What, and like, how, you know what I mean? Like, he just sort of assumes. I guess maybe if he heard them speaking Korean, he could be speaking about Koreans, but I just have this feeling that he just picked whatever Asian culture he felt like and said, or he's like lumping them all together or something, which is also
lumping them all together.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. They make Americans look awesome in this scene,
and little do they know that Sun can understand them.
Yeah,
right. Of course, that's the problem, is that she's having to hear these terrible people.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So then Sun, while reaching over, ends up spilling something on Jin's lap, and then she grabs some napkins or whatever and starts trying to clean it up. And then he's looking around looking for a bathroom, and then the American woman chimes in again. It's Memoirs of a Geisha Come to Life.
So completely wrong.
Again, that's Japanese. They're not Japanese.
Yeah.
Geishas are Japanese. Also, that's an excellent book and film if you've never read it or seen it.
And then her husband very quietly says, volume. And she says something like, well, they can't understand me anyway. And then you could see Sun kind of sitting there like she obviously very much understood what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was actually asking that thing. I was like, now what do you guys think? Like when somebody doesn't speak English, I feel like if you meet somebody in an airport or anywhere else and they're not speaking English, I feel like the only people who assume that they don't speak English are Americans who have never traveled.
Yeah. Yep. Which is ridiculous because most, countries outside of the United States that don't speak English teach it.
Speak multiple.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, like you're forced to, because international business is almost always conducted in English. And so a lot of people will learn that. Now, granted, you're in an airport, there's going to be people who don't actually speak English, but I think maybe you shouldn't ridicule people even if they can't understand you.
Well, also pilots throughout the world, the universal language is English for air traffic control and other pilots. Yeah.
Americans are just so incredibly arrogant.
Yeah. Because we're raised that way. It's pumped into us. Yeah, exactly.
I was always taught as a kid, this is the best country in the world. Yes, the rest of the world is shit.
I heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard growing up too. It's funny because we're smack dab in the middle of a couple generations right now, our age, and the younger generations do not see it that way. But you get into the boomers, and so many of them are just totally fucking brainwashed into that. It's like the only thing they remember is World War II, growing up after World War II when we were heroic. Yeah. And it's like nothing else of our history since then permeates the brain.
Well,
but not all boomers.
Hashtag
not all boomers.
Right. It's so funny to me that in general, that generation kind of made us understand, you have to think for yourself. Like I was told time and time again, think for yourself. Don't follow the crowd. Think for yourself. Don't succumb to peer pressure. Think for yourself. And now that I'm thinking for myself.
Yep.
And I feel differently.
You and Ben have the same story.
And,
you both have dads that raised you to believe that and then went full fucking MAGA cult.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now that I'm thinking for myself and it doesn't align with what their generation thinks, now I've been indoctrinated by the liberal whatever.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry, I went off the rails there.
I do remember my dad. I wanted to go to UT Austin, and my dad wouldn't send me there because he said it was too liberal.
Oh boy.
It's a liberal. I mean, Austin's a liberal city, as liberal as you get in Texas. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
All right.
But it turns out most colleges are considered liberal nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people, where people are more well educated, it's kind of it's kind of the way it goes, the
because you get exposed
mindset
to other ideas. And so it's not as easy to insulate yourself into like the kind of America fuck yeah brainwashing that we go through as children. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, conservatives by and large are going to be more religious. They're going to be more, symbol-minded people that you can leverage just using fear and symbolism and patriot. Like, it's all the nationalist shit we're seeing right now. It's all the same thing.
Right.
Fascist playbook, man.
Yep.
All right.
Wow. So
that dewormer.
All that from a bitch in the airport. Alrighty.
All right, so now back at the raft, Sun walks up to Jin. He's working on the boat. I guess he's working on it, but he's just beating a piece of metal with a piece of wood. I'm not really sure what he's accomplishing there.
That's true. I noticed that too. I was just like, oh, all right.
They're like,
we're just going to pretend to do something here. Yeah.
Act like you're working on the boat. He's like, oh, so I should just hit this thing with this thing? He tries to walk. He sees her and he tries to walk away at first. And then she hands him a notebook of Korean symbols. And she says that she arranged them phonetically so that he could speak, some simple words or whatever while he's on the boat. She says, I thought this could help you, so I made it for you, which I thought was really, really sweet.
Sweet.
Oh, I cried again during this scene.
Yeah.
Were you having an emotional day when you watched this?
Yes.
No, and I watched it a few times, and each time I cried in all of these spaces.
Same spots,
Yeah.
So he starts to cry, and then it sounds like a violinist, and like the violinist in like the Italian restaurant that you always see. Like, it sounds like that kind of comes up behind them because you hear this really nice, romantic violin music. And he says he thinks he's being punished because he made her suffer, and that she doesn't deserve any of this, and that he wants to do this so he can save her. And he also says that while he's gone, she should stay with Jack because he'll keep her safe. Then they cry, they hug, they say, I love you, they kiss. And this, the thing is, this was not a good kiss. Like, this is like when Sawyer and Kate kissed in one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah, that was hot.
This was one of those like Hollywood, like just jam your faces together and move around. Like, ugh. It's just going. It's like
that is like a Hollywood thing where I'm just like, what? Y'all don't open your mouths when you kiss? What the fuck are you doing? What the hell?
Yeah, man.
It's not sexy like it should be, Jack.
Not sexy like it should be, Jack.
And that's not Jack the character. That's a movie quote. For those of you losers who have never seen
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Oh my god!
I love that movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
It's awesome. I am a star.
Can I kiss you on the mouth?
I'm a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. Big bright shining star. Such a good movie.
So next
I dressed up as a roller girl one Halloween.
Fun.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep, great scene.
Really, you just need hot pants and some roller skates, and you're pretty much there.
In a bush.
Next, we cut to a musical montage of folks saying bye at the beach. Let's see. Jin kisses Aaron's forehead. Sorry, Turnip Head's forehead.
Turnip Head. My God. This whole... We have to start
They're going to name him Booth.
What? Yeah, Booth.
Then you see Sun and Michael actually hug, which was, that was unheard of a while back. Walt and Shannon. Charlie gives Sawyer the message in the bottle. And then at this, we got the opposite where Sawyer is looking for Kate, but there's no Kate to be found. Then they get the raft in the water. People start to cheer. And then this fucking thing takes off. I don't know what's propelling it. I mean, the surf is coming toward it.
Yeah.
Nobody's kicking. There's no oars. There's no they didn't strap Vincent to the back of it and have him doggy paddle or anything. But this thing is bolting out to sea really fast.
Yeah,
So,
you can't do that when the waves are coming in. It should have just bounced right back up onto the beach.
Right.
But it's a magic raft.
But on this island, it can happen.
If there's a serious offshore wind going, then maybe once you get the sail up, you could tack your way out. But you would really need to have
they do drop the sail and everybody cheers and whatever. Right. But
after
it's something
50
propels
meters out. Yeah. So then we get a bunch of waving and clapping and hi, and we see Jin look at Sun, and then all of a sudden the raft is going parallel to the shore, and I swear that thing's going 15 kilometers an hour. It's actually booking. And then we have the sort of triumphant music gets louder. What's his name? The dog, Vincent jumps into the water.
Vincent.
Yeah. Walt says go back, and eventually, and I noticed this. She gives the dog to Shannon, and immediately Shannon loses the dog.
What a shocker.
Right? The dog tries to drown itself before it will be with Shannon.
Don't leave me with this horrible woman.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I was crying during that scene, too. But now,
Vincent, no.
Oh, my God.
So, and then for the last shot, we see kind of a rotating shot of the boat sailing over this absolutely gorgeous coral reef. And again, the triumphant music gets louder, then to black. End of episode.
All right. Christy, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay.
You're feeling a little verklempt.
You may have just heard my computer make a noise. I'm turning my volume up. For fun facts today, we've got something a little bit different. I lied. It's not about dynamite. That's the next episode, but I forgot. So anyways, we talk about dynamite once we go inside the Black Rock. So what we're going to do today for a little bit of fun is we're going to use Google Translate to learn some Korean phrases. And we're going to do the reverse of what Sun gave to Jin. So we're going to learn a little bit of Korean. Tell me if you can hear this.
You're going to teach us the bad words, right?
I don't know what is happening, but every time I try to play this, it's I'm hitting the wrong button. That's why. All right. Okay.
Headback error.
All right. Ready?
Good morning.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I played the English.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
It's like memoirs of a geisha come to life.
Yeah.
Let me try again.
좋은 아침.
You hear it?
Junatsim.
Yeah, that sounded about right.
좋은 아침.
Chunatsim.
Do
Yeah,
not sin.
that means good morning. One more time.
좋은 아침.
Junachim. Yeah, well, that's what I think. Yeah. Okay. Next one.
배 봤어.
Que pasa?
Sounds like Que Paso.
Yeah.
No.
Que paso?
No.
Is that how they say, what's up?
What's
No,
up?
well, okay.
What's
So let me actually. Oh, for fuck's sake! Let me spell it for you. So it's two words. One of them is hyphenated. So it's BAE, and the next word BWASS-EO. Listen again. It'll be slower this time.
배 봤어.
Whip, patso. I don't know.
Beplazo. Yeah, the EO sound makes it so like we would spell
Seoul,
SOO.
South Korea.
No,
Seoul,
like
yeah.
SOO. Okay, so what this means is, did you see a boat?
배 봤어.
It may sound like that to you, but to me, through this, it sounds just like Que Paso over and
Yeah, it
over.
really does.
Yeah,
Sounds like Que Paso.
It uses a B, but maybe that makes a K sound. I don't know. I don't speak Korean, but
Maybe
you're right.
we're
It does
just
sound like K pasa, but
Yeah.
Be pasto.
yeah.
I don't know.
Be
I'm
paso.
a visual person. I know that you spelled it for us, but I would really want it spelled out in front of me so that I could see it. And then, I don't know. It's easier for me that way.
I don't disagree with you. I can see it, so it's easier.
Right.
Okay, so this is a phrase that is specific for Sawyer, that Sawyer needs to learn to communicate with Jin. It's a long one. Ready?
내 컨디셔너는 어디에 있습니까?
I'm going to do it slower.
내 컨디셔너는 어디에 있습니까?
So the phrase is, where is my conditioner?
Sawyer definitely needs to know where his conditioner is.
Yeah.
All right, so there's one left, and this one is specifically for Michael. It's another long one. Giggity.
나는 당신의 아내와 섹스하고 싶습니다.
That's wild. I feel like I want to learn Korean. This language is fascinating.
Oh, I've always wanted to learn Korean.
섹스하고 싶습니다.
All right, one more time, slowly.
나는 당신의 아내와 섹스하고 싶습니다.
Okay, so that means I want to fuck your wife.
There you go.
All right.
All right, guys. Honestly, that's all for today. I just thought we would have a little bit of fun.
That's great.
What's next? How about let's do some power rankings? Or let's start with best and worst moments. How about you, Christy?
My best moment was Sawyer telling Jack about meeting Christian in the bar, with a strong second being Walt giving Vincent to Shannon. And the way he did it, what he said to her, it was just very, very sweet. My worst moment was when Vincent tried to follow the boat because, I mean, his people were leaving him, and that just broke my heart. So, and I don't think that he was trying to commit suicide.
My best moment, which I'm actually surprised wasn't yours, Christy, because it has to do with Hurley, was when he says, well, that's 3 reasons to go right there. Just best line of the entire episode.
It was a great line.
I did have a close second, which was Walt giving Vincent to Shannon. My worst moment was every single word that Art spoke. Fucking hate that guy. Derek, how about you?
Yeah, there were a lot of good moments in this episode, but my favorite or my best moment was when Sawyer told Jack about what his father said at the bar. Because, you know, like you said, gave Jack that validation he needed.
A lot of really good moments in this episode. Yeah.
And then the worst moment was when the marshal was, you know, antagonizing Kate, and then he elbowed her in the face. That just pissed me off. You don't hit Kate. Even criminal Kate. You don't hit even criminal Kate.
Oh my god. Okay, so Ben, best and worst moments.
Actually, the exact same.
The
Sawyer
exact same
telling
as
Jack
Derek?
about his dad. Yeah. And then the worst scene was the fact that she's shy. What's his name? All the prodding and sort of like being just a complete dick. But at the same time, I loved it when she just went Sarah Connor on his ass. That was pretty amazing. So
it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so hot. Okay, so why don't you give us your characters, Ben? We'll come back to you for the updated power rankings.
I mean, Sawyer, I thought was my favorite character in this episode. He just sort of he did a lot of the things that he didn't normally do before. Like he did things that were selfless in a lot of ways. The thing with Jack was just sort of like, okay, he made up a lot of ground right there in my mind. The worst character, the marshal.
Yeah. I don't blame you on that one.
For fucking kill, I'm going to fuck Ana Lucia, and I'm going to kill Shannon once again.
All right. Derek, what about your best and worst and fuckable and killable?
My best was Sawyer, just like Ben said, because, what he told Jack, he became more useful and helpful and did a lot of selfless things. My worst character was Arts, just because he's an idiot, and like you said, every word he said was just grating and just like, what an asshole. And then I would fuck Ana Lucia, and even though he's dead, I killed the marshal again.
All right. Christy?
So my favorite character in this one was Michael. He really worked his ass off to make that boat. And then, and he had good moments with Sawyer, and I don't know. He was just a good character in this one. And then my worst character is Arst.
Oh, you've liked him before. I feel like you.
Yeah, you liked him
in
last
previous
episode.
episode. You were the only one that liked him. He's finally wore you down.
It doesn't take much with him.
No.
The neck bandana did.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
All right. Nope.
and
Fucking
then-
and killing. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck Oily Sawyer.
With his perfectly shaped mast.
Perfectly cut.
sized,
Perfectly
but I'm
cut
guessing the
mask.
shape is nice
Size,
too.
yeah.
And then I don't really have any kill this week.
You know what? I didn't kill anybody this week either. And it's not that there weren't killable like moments, but I feel like I might have been on the same train as you, Christy. It was a very uplifting episode. It had
Yeah.
It was.
those
A lot of closure.
moments that,
Yes.
and a lot of emotion that I guess made me not want to kill anyone. My best character, I also had Sawyer. So he's definitely going to move around after we had that whole discussion at the beginning of this. My worst character, I had Shannon. I understand it was in the past, but that shit that she pulled with Saeed, like, fuck, lady. And I just hate her. So there we go. She's the worst character. I didn't kill her. I didn't kill anybody, but I did have a threesome with Ana Lucia and Oily Sawyer. I feel like that is going to be a lot of fun. So, shall we have an update, Ben, on the rankings?
Yeah, power rankings, nothing's really changed. We still got Kate at the top with 160 points, same as last week. Locke, same as last week, 142 points. Jack, or what was I calling him? Dr. Bronze, going from 128 to 130. So
Yeah, those top ones aren't really going to move. It's just going to be the
No.
bottom there because
Yeah.
we loved Sawyer this week.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The bottom of the barrel is still Shannon. No one's going to catch her. There's no way.
No.
Negative 113 points. So second place behind her is Ethan, and third worst is Booth, whoever. Yeah. So
Sawyer just took off.
yeah.
He got a lot of
Sawyer-
fucking and best character this week. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely made up some ground.
He's coming around.
all right, good for you, Sawyer. Why don't you give us your final impressions, Ben?
I mean, I think we've already said it. I think this was of the last three episodes. This one was actually my favorite. It tied up a lot of loose ends emotionally. The stuff with Sawyer, with Jin, Walt and Shannon. There's just a lot of really, really nice moments in it. That's really it. And it was really cool to see, the Black Rock, obviously, and kind of that whole sort of mindfuck storyline. I was like, whoa, how did that get there? So it was a good mix of sort of like the fantastical and then the just sort of like, the heartfelt moments that a lot of them felt like they were a long time coming.
Yeah. Christy?
I'm sorry.
What are
I
you
got
doing? You're like
lost
staring
somewhere.
into space and
Are you crying again? We're
No,
looking
no.
for your final
No,
impressions,
she's
dear.
thinking about
You-
Sawyer's mask.
You are recording a podcast.
I apologize. I was looking at all the rankings and stuff.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
Really sucks when I go off into my own little world during work meetings.
Oh my God, that was amazing. What are your final impressions?
I loved this episode.
Yeah.
Even though I cried a lot during it. It had a lot of really sappy moments. Especially the whole saying goodbye to everybody on the boat, and then Sawyer looking for Kate and she wasn't there. I just really liked this episode. It was great.
Yeah, I felt the same. Absolutely fabulous episode. Great storytelling. I really appreciate the new perspective on old scenes, like seeing everybody in the airport and that kind of thing. And to kind of be able to see how far the characters have come and how much so many of them have changed. And then just overall, it leaves me ready for parts 2 and 3. Derek?
Yeah, this was one of my favorite episodes so far in the show, just because it did, tie up a lot of loose ends, and Jack got closure about his father. Finally got to find out what the Black Rock is, and it wasn't what I expected. And yes, some
what did you
survivors.
expect?
I
Did
don't
you
know.
have
Maybe a big
expectations
black
like an
rock
actual
in the
rock?
Yeah, like
exactly.
a black rock in the middle of the island, 5
Yeah, like
kilometers.
a
inland.
volcanic rock or something. Yeah.
Well, like some magical rock or some crap, I don't know.
5 kilometers inland.
Yeah, 5 kilometers. And yeah, some of the survivors have left the island, maybe stupidly. And I guess my biggest question is about that black smoke. What is the significance of it, and who set the fire to cause it?
Right. All right. Well, next week, there are 3 episodes dropping to end the season. We will be doing Exodus parts 2 and 3. Derek is going to present both of those, the ending of the show. We had him start the season. He's going to end the season. And you are going to get our special episode about theories and questions. We're going to talk about theories that were around when the show originally aired. We're going to see if Derek's got any theories and what his season-long questions are before we start season 2. So we will see you next week for the ending of season 1 and some in-depth analysis about theories, questions, and our power rankings. We'll talk a little more in depth about them. All right. See you next week for the end. Yay!
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.